Welcome again. I'm Joao Caldeira. I'm the founder of the Tarot House in Lisbon. And in this May, we are going to have this great event that is the International Tarot Month. And during the International Tarot Month, we're going to have here in Portugal Rachel Pollack, that is here with me today. Actually, I'm in Lisbon. She's near New York. And we are going to talk about the card number 20, the Awakening. Rachel Pollack is the mentor of the Tarot House in Lisbon. So she's very, very important for us. She's inspiring this event. And the Awakening card is also a card that will mark the event. So I'll ask Rachel to talk a little bit about this card. So Rachel, what comes up? What comes up?
Well, the first thing that comes up is that it's not judgment. You know, the card that number 20 usually is called Judgment. And the title comes because the image comes from the Christian idea of the Last Judgment, which is a favorite topic of medieval and Renaissance painters, you know. And in those pictures, we see the dead rising up, as we see in the traditional tarot card of Judgment. And then they are judged. A group of them go to heaven, and a much larger group go to hell. And often we'll see in the picture, we'll see in the medieval paintings, we'll see a bunch of people going to a cave and devils are waiting with pitchforks and fire, while the smaller group are going up a hill where the angels have open arms to them. In the tarot card of Judgment, however, no one's actually judged. Instead, everyone is joyously rising up to the sound of the angel's trumpet. So to me, the card has never been about being judged. It's about kind of waking up. It's a card of resurrection, coming back to life. And on a deeper level, it's a card of discovering your true nature, discovering your true spiritual nature, which then is finally revealed in the World card. So it's a very profound card. It's a card of intense, joyous spiritual awakening, learning things, becoming aware of things. It's also communal. In the Rider deck, which was the inspiration for so many of us, it's the most populated card in the deck. Along with the angel, there are 6 people. So I think a couple other cards have maybe 5 people, but this is the card that's most populated. So it's communal. It shows a family in front, then there's another family behind them. And Paul Foster Case criticized Waite's design for that card by saying those extra people are not necessary for the symbolism. And I don't actually know just why Waite had them there, but to me, what it signals is that you don't just become a new person for yourself, it's a community experience. So I set my card in a city. And this is to show that when one person rises up, or a group of people rise up, it affects everyone. And it'd be nice to think that events like the International Tarot Month and other things that are going on, World Tarot Day, which will also be in the month of May, that these things are in fact waking up the tarot community to a higher knowledge of tarot, to a more spiritual, more practical, a new way of thinking, a new way of being, a new understanding of self and awareness, and that will affect other people as well, that will reach out to a larger community. One of our previous talks, I was saying what a strong change the whole internet forum thing is. The fact that people now all over the world can discuss, tarot meetings. And also now this event that you're staging, this month-long series of events, will be available to people all over the world to join in via Skype or other methods. So this is a big change, and it's a communal change. And it's a change that's happening in Portugal, the event, but also it's a change that affects people in a much wider area. So I think that's the card of awakening applies there as well.
And I have this feeling about this card and the idea of awakening that is kind of connecting people again, or reconnecting people joining them and making them stronger in a way, as a group, as people joining forces, joining ideas, discussing things, and that's, I think that's very important. As to do, for me, the idea of solidarity is very, very connected with this card as well.
Okay, yeah.
And I think it's difficult to reach there. It's it's the number 20, so it's sort of close to heaven. So for me, the idea is a card that is close to heaven, and to be close to heaven, it's not easy. What do you think?
Well, I'm thinking of that famous line about Poland originally, I think it was, so far from God and so close to the Soviet Union. And then it became about Mexico, so far from God and so close to the United States. So I'm not sure what Portugal's version of that would be, but maybe so far from God, so close to Spain. I don't know. But anyway, but yeah, there's definitely this idea of, what does it mean to awaken? What does it mean to find out your heavenly self? There's also, in the concept of awakening versus judgment, is a concept of a discovery of some great true state of existence that otherwise people don't know. There's a wonderful science fiction story about that I read years and years ago. I think it was Robert Heinlein. I don't remember which story it was. And it's one of these science fiction adventures in which, someone discovers that aliens are controlling everybody. And they have implants in our brains to control our behavior. But the way it starts is this man is walking past the store where they have a television on, and the television is a show featuring a hypnotist. And the hypnotist has hypnotized someone, and then at the end he says, as they always do, and now when I snap my fingers, you will awaken. And so just as the hero of the story is going by the television, the man goes, awake! And the hero does. And suddenly he wakes up and he sees reality for the first time, that everybody is under a spell, is hypnotized by these aliens. So this is an allegory of a spiritual state that Gurdjieff talked about all the time. The fact that we are, in fact, asleep. We don't know our true nature. We don't know the true nature of existence. And to wake up would mean to really suddenly see things completely differently. And ultimately, to me, the tarot is about that. It's about this constant kind of little voice doing for this impossible medium, which is so absurd. You mix a bunch of four-color bright pictures, and they say something meaningful about your life. That's ludicrous, And yet it's almost as if it's like that man on television snapping his fingers and saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. And so you have the moment of awakening precedes the world card in which you have woken up and you see the true nature of being. And Waite said something similar. He says something about that those who wish to continue to see this image as a little image of the last judgment in which the dead are resurrected. And he says, but for those who have eyes to see and ears to hear, which is a biblical expression, he says, this will be a card of our true nature. And he says, what is it within us that hears the sound of the trumpet and in an instant rises up and the scales fall from our eyes. Suddenly we see reality as it truly is. So that card to me is a very important card, awakening. Because as I said, it's to me what the tarot is about always. Trying to get us to wake up. Even if we're just asking about some trivial matter, something that's not terribly important, it's the reading is trying to give us the chance to see a deeper reality.
Yeah, I have the idea that is something like finding out about our soul, meeting our soul and the other people's souls. And that's very, very deep. And I think sometimes it's very difficult. But I also think that when we have this in our minds, this direction, this image, actually we can have a direction. We have a direction. We know we have to raise up. And that's important. That's a beautiful moment. And even if it doesn't stay, forever with us, it's a moment that we'll always remember, that make us move toward upwards and toward other people. and so it's a beautiful card. I think that's why it was chosen to be connected with this event in May. And in a way, it can be connected to all events. All events that have this idea of connecting people, of reuniting
Yes.
people. And I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit more about the other cards that are connected to this event.
Okay.
But
Sure.
shall we stop for the moment, and I'll
Okay.
challenge you again. Thank you, Rachel. Thank
Very
you
good.
very, very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.